You've probably heard the one about the guy that walks up to the horse and says, "Hey, what's with the long face?" Horses hate that joke. You would too if you were a beast of burden. But long faces notwithstanding, there's one equestrian wonder that has no reason to feel blue. He's Man-O-War, the greatest horse of the 20th century. Anyone who has ever played the ponies knows there's no such thing as a sure bet. But in post-World War I America, there was something pretty close. Named Man-O-War, he was a sports superstar of the early 1920s, almost as popular as Yankees great Babe Ruth. And Man-O-War's popularity was well earned. He won 20 of his 21 races, set 5 time records, and produced a total of 379 foals who later won almost 1,300 races themselves. So spectacular was Man-O-War that the Associated Press named him the greatest horse of the 20th century.
Whatever Man-O-War was asked, he would try to do more. When they asked him to jog, he would try to gallop. When they asked him to gallop, he would try to run like the wind.
Born in 1917, Man-O-War won his very first race 2 years later by a whopping 6 lengths. He then went on to win the next 4 as well. Man-O-War's only loss was a second-place finish to a horse aptly named Upset. But racing experts agree that Man-O-War got a bad start from an inexperienced fill-in starter. As a 3-year-old, Man-O-War went unbeaten, winning all 11 of his races and setting a record time in the 1 3/8 that stood for 69 years. Horse racing's hallowed Triple Crown, however, eluded Man-O-War, as he never raced in the Kentucky Derby. In 1947, Man-O-War died of a heart attack, and the nation felt the loss of a legend. He was embalmed and lay in state for 2 days. 2,000 people attended his funeral. Man-O-War was remembered then, and still today, as the greatest horse of the 20th century.
When Citation came along in the 1940s and swept the Triple Crown, they said, Citation is another Man-O-War. And when Secretariat came along in the 1970s and swept the Triple Crown, they said, he's another Man-O-War. It was Man-O-War that's the standard to which all thoroughbreds to this day are still measured.